Denny, everybody can hear you.
Hi, Salam.
Salam.
I'm talking to you from Alexandria today.
Yes. So,
We're having some technical problems with the internet today, unfortunately.
yes, unfortunately we are. So, we'll let this one video run through one more time for everybody. Let everybody run their bearings. I just want to let you know, you can't see me, but I'm here. This is live. Denny's here. It's just you can't see us at the moment. If so, we would have been able to be live if we wouldn't have had the internet issues. We would have been able to use our video. So go ahead, enjoy this video. This is a production from our USA Youth spokesperson, Jamal Bellica, JB. You've seen him a lot on Facebook, and we will be right back with you.
Years have passed since our arrival on Earth. Your democracy has become an illusion. Global mind control tactics must be stopped. We must unite as one to save your planet. Those who rise against us will be destroyed. Those who have achieved an elevated existence, raise your fists.
your lips and walls. I'll let you know this time. A curtain call, the final dance to end it all. So now you know you're mine. Your world's nightmare. Your work for your soul here, and I say it's not what you wanted, but you'll get hung, drawn, and quartered in. Your world's nightmare. Your work for your soul here, and I say it's not what you wanted, but you'll get hung, drawn, and quartered in here.
Years have passed since our arrival on Earth. Your democracy has become an illusion. Global mind control tactics must be stopped. We must unite as one to save your planet. Those who rise against us will be destroyed. Those who have achieved an elevated existence, raise your fists. Raise your fist. Raise your fist.
Okay, everyone, we're here. This is Luna, international human rights activist, along with my comrade and most respectful comrade, international human rights activist, Mr. Denny Cormier. Hey, Denny, how you doing?
Well, good morning, Luna. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent.
It's sunny and bright in Alexandria right now. It's about almost 3 o'clock. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I was home. Oh, wow.
I wish you were here too.
Yes. Um, we started today on the live, and this is going to be something new for people. I know you and I have had future interviews and stuff, but this is going to be kind of new for our youth. Doing and letting them voice this way. I think this would be an excellent way for the youth of Gaza to be able to get out their voice, don't you?
I totally agree, and it's something you have to practice at, and the more they have an opportunity to practice, and by doing it, even if it's new right now, it won't be new forever, and they'll find that it's a great way to communicate with people on that side of the world.
Exactly. Yep. So
I mean, it was new for us a few years ago too, but we got used to it.
Exactly. And being able to the world being able to hear their voice. What are your feelings about activists as ourselves who voice for the youth of Gaza and all Palestine? And do you think that it would be better? Do you think it's gives the world more of an impact of to understand what is going on by us communicating for them, or for them to do it themselves, for the world to be able to hear them?
We both have a role to play in this. International activists have a lot of passion, and we have a lot of, especially those of us that know Gaza very well, we have a lot of love for the country and for the people, and so we want to help. But the best voices are the Palestinian voices. I mean, I've always felt that. And even when I went to Gaza for 15 months, my desire was to get help to people who wanted to communicate in one form or another, whether it was Facebook or Twitter or Skype or any number of ways that you could do it these days. I still think that Palestinian voices are more effective. There are many people who are doing this. There are many people in Gaza. You and I know many of them. We're good friends with them, and they communicate regularly using whatever means they can. But those connections with real people, it's just like the same as being in Gaza. You have a different perspective altogether when you hear people in Gaza telling their stories. That's why I went to Gaza, so that I could listen and I could meet people face to face. And we can't all do that, but by using methods like we're using today, Skype and other ways and live streaming, etc., we can hear those voices, and I think it's very, very effective. Sorry for the long answer, but
no, it's okay.
But I'm a big believer in communication. Once I started communicating with people in Gaza, it gave me a totally different picture of what's going on there, a totally different picture. And when I visited Gaza for 15 months, it just increased my knowledge base tremendously. So that, I think one of the big challenges that we have is that many activists have limited contact with people in Gaza, people in Palestine in general. And the more contact, the better off we are, I believe. I really do. Because then we're really telling the true story and not our perceptions of the story.
Exactly. And, basically, there comes a time to where we can try just so many things, and it gets a little bit of results, but the results is to get a full result, So.
I agree with you. The Israelis do a very good job of communicating, and on an ongoing basis, if we can help at all, and help young people in Gaza to communicate more effectively, then I think we have a role to play, and that's the role that I feel. I mean, I do post every day about Gaza. I did for 15 months while I was there, but you know, we're supporting. We're not the voice. We are supporting the voice of Gaza.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so let me ask you a little bit about your interaction with the youth. Um, what is your perception of like well, let's start off with what we have today, you know, coming up with the parkour teams. Do you mind if we go there for a minute?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, and as everyone knows, not everyone may not know, but I'm really personally taking a interest in the talents of the youth in Gaza that is being locked away from the rest of the world. You know, very rarely do one of them are able to venture beyond Gaza and show these talents. But tell us about the talents of the youth there, the amazing talents that they have that's being kept away from the rest of the world.
Well, you know, my own experience is like at many different levels. I mean, first of all, just on the level of education, young people in Gaza are some of the most educated that I've ever met, and education is valued. I mean, Gaza shuts down final exams. Gaza shuts down because very often because people have to study, and so you know, on the first level, just education, it's phenomenal. Also, more and more people in Gaza can speak English, and the audience that I think they need to reach is the English audience. Now, whether they speak in English or whether they sing or whether they do parkour, and I'm particularly interested in the young people who do parkour because, I mean, it's really a phenomenal sport, but it's also a way for people in Gaza to express themselves. They express themselves through rap music. They express themselves through writing on Facebook. They express themselves through many different ways. Their art, their photography, and I totally support. I totally support what they're doing. Some of the really very most talented photographers that I've met in Gaza. Even though some of the young writers struggle with English, they're writing some of the most heart-based things that I've read. And I read a lot, and I communicate with people all around the world, but the heart-based communications that is coming out of Gaza is, you know, even though it's limited right now still yet, it's really phenomenal, and it does have an impact. You know, you can touch people with music, you can touch people with photography, you can touch people with videos. You know, what the kids are doing in the parkour teams with their videos is really phenomenal. It shows the strength and the resilience of the young people. And you can't beat it. You really can't beat it. I'm going in a circle here. You'll forgive me, but
It's okay. No.
I think there's a rich capability for young people in Gaza to communicate, and when they are communicating, they're doing a phenomenal job. I support the work that you're doing with the many sports teams, because these kids are really, I mean, I've met many of them myself. They're really great kids. You know, there are so many of them that I would wish that were my own son, because they are really nice kids. That was my experience in Gaza. I didn't meet a young person in Gaza that I did not really like a lot.
Yeah.
And that and the welcome that they gave me in Gaza was really, really over the top. I mean, all right, I'll shut up, but I think you
No,
get
no,
my
no, no.
point. That the level of talent, the level of communication, the level of heart-based communication is something that I just never experienced before. First of all, it's a beautiful country and a beautiful people, but the young people are particularly welcoming. The young people are particularly motivated. I mean, they do deal with some really big issues, like destruction of their homes, destruction of their communities. They deal daily with issues of depression, or depression can easily take over, and anything that they can do to reverse that and feel that they have a voice and that they're not totally silent is important.
Right.
When I was in Gaza, the two questions that I'm asked frequently is anybody listening out there outside of Gaza? And the second question is, does anybody care? So I've encouraged young people in Gaza to reach out, not to wait for people to come to them, but to reach out and go to the world outside of Gaza by the use of social media.
Exactly.
In any way that they can, in any way that they feel capable of doing. It's only going to be a great benefit to them by doing this. It's a slow process. It doesn't end the siege, it doesn't end the blockade, but at least it gives them a voice when very often they have no voice.
Exactly. And I agree with that also. And that is something that I encourage, I also encourage them to do. Many times I've had to, I tell my youth, or our youth, I use my youth a lot because I get so, they're like my babies, they are my babies. So it's like, I'll explain to them, and I understand what you're saying, as an international, because I get them same questions. Luna, does anybody even care? I'm tired of trying this and that. Nobody's listening to me. And you get them periods of time where they really feel like they're not being listened to, And so my personal thing that I tell them is that, look, Luna can go out all day on social media. She can go on Twitter. She can go on Facebook. She can do a live. She can, do a lot of things. And the live, like I said, is totally new to them. They're like, what is this? But, and this is something new that I'm introducing them to give them that voice, so that, let's not talk the talk, let's walk the walk now. I've got them there. So it's like I explained to them, I can speak for you or on your behalf, or all I want to, but the world needs to hear from you, and here's how we can do it. Like, with the live and stuff, the electricity and power problems there, we're gonna have times to where we're gonna have problems because of the electricity. Either they don't have it, or they don't have enough battery, or whatever. But that's fine. If we have to record that and play it later, at least we got it. And so basically, the Pakor boys, is the International Youth Project isn't going to just focus on Pakor, but the thing is, the Pakor brothers, they are the most amazing to me. I mean, I'm like, you guys, how, and they do get hurt. This is a very dangerous sport. Can you tell us anything about that? While you were with Free Run and stuff?
I've not seen anybody get hurt personally. However, when I see the tricks that they're doing, and their bravery in attempting new tricks, I just hold my breath. I did a few recording sessions and photography sessions with some of the groups. I wish that I could have even done more, but the ones that I did do, whether they were jumping off of buildings or sand dunes or jumping between spaces. It was, I mean, you know, I'm an older person and I kind of have these feelings, fatherly feelings toward these kids, and I say, oh my God. I have seen some of them fall, but thank goodness they didn't get serious damage when they did, but they can. And I know some young people that have been hurt. You know, I always tell them when I'm with them, don't try to do tricks to impress me. Do tricks that you can do safely, because I don't need to be impressed. I'm already impressed.
Right.
by what you're doing. You know, be careful. You know, it's fun. There is something that we forget. There's two things we forget. Sometimes is that it takes patience to do work on social media. We think that maybe we will fix things like instantaneously, but these problems in Gaza have been going on for years, and there's not going to be an easy fix. And social media is only one part of a very big set of parts that need to be put into place to make changes in Gaza.
Exactly.
So, you know, rather than just sitting there and hoping that things will change, at least we have an opportunity to do something to help. It might be educating other people alone. And one of the biggest problems in the West is that many people just do not know what's going on.
Yep. Okay, we're having
On Gaza. Newspapers is minimal. Now, the second thing is,
Denny, can you give us the first thing again, because the connect.
beside that,
Give us the first thing
I was going
again.
to say, the first thing I think we have to do is we have to be patient. We have to realize that if we get on social media and we start communicating, that we're not going to make change with our first communications. If we look back at the issues in Palestine, they've been going on for 66 years. And some of the most difficult issues have taken place in the last 10. Patience is absolutely required. If I thought, even after 3 years of doing the work that I'm doing, that I would lose patience, I might just stop the work altogether. But I realize it takes time. It
Right.
really takes time. We hope that the international community will come forward and change things in Gaza, but you know, even that's a slow process. It really is a slow process because a lot of people have to be educated. The second thing I was going to mention is that young people in Gaza can impact the future leaders in the United States, because the leaders that are in place right now that are making some really huge mistakes about the Middle East are eventually going to be replaced by the young people who are growing up. People the same age as those people who are doing parkour. People the same age as the people that are doing blogs and writing stories and using Facebook in Gaza, because it's primarily the younger generation that's doing this.
Right.
We may not be able to change things today by the little things we do, but we can definitely change tomorrow by the little things we do. And I think that's the really important thing to remember, is to be patient, to keep on doing the work, because it's not going to happen quickly.
Right. Right. And you know what?
I wish that it would.
Yeah.
When I was in Gaza, I was hoping that the siege would be lifted while I was there. But you just begin to realize that this is a huge series of problems that have to be worked out, and they're not going to be. I mean, there are political issues, there are corporate issues, there are money issues, there are so many issues, historical issues that are not easily untangled. They really are not.
Right. So, I mean, as far as can you run us through, let's say, just a daily life of a youth in Gaza, as far as, let's say, the working. Let's start as a child up to, you know, a young adult youth. What is an average day that you've seen while you were there?
Oh, that's a big question. I'm not with the kids all day long, but I'll tell you some of the things that I think impact their day. You know, we all know this is an electrical problem in Gaza, but we don't really know what that means in terms of daily life.
Right.
It you know, and we don't know. We hear about the unemployment in Gaza, but we don't know what that does on the daily life. But electricity, when you only have 4 hours a day, it means you're studying very often in the dark. If your father is unemployed, that means there are very few dollars coming in to the household. I mean, I know many Palestinian families that are just getting by day after day after day. If their father works for the government in Gaza, that those fathers haven't been paid for over a year. They're not getting any salary. If you know, the daily life is just like the daily life in America. We wake up, we go to school, we come home, we eat dinner with our family, we have to study. I mean, so life for Gaza kids is not much different than life for kids in America. And they, I mean, you know, we may not realize that they like video games, so they play video games.
Right.
We may not realize that they're social animals, just like people all over the world, and they want to communicate with other people.
Right.
And they talk with their friends. Gaza young people are very close to each other. They're very, very close to their friends. They love spending time with their friends. When they have free time, when they're not studying, I mean, they're out at the sea or the relationships I've seen between young people in Gaza are some of the closest I've ever seen. Certainly closer than what I've experienced in the United States. When you have a buddy, he's your buddy for life. I'm amazed to see the guys walking down the street arm in arm. These are really close friendships between brothers and between sisters.
Right.
You are living in a different culture, so that there's not the same communication, let's say, between the young men and young women as it might be in the United States. But they really love. And kids there love football. So very often, for many kids, some of their day, whether they're young or teens, is playing football. I mean, football is a huge, huge thing in Gaza. It's difficult for me to answer a typical day because it's very, very different.
Right.
But a lot of kids spend a lot of time with their families because families are very, very tight and very, very close in Gaza.
So it's a very social structure constantly.
It is very heavily based on the social issues in ways that we don't really see as much in Western countries. I even see this here in Egypt, in Alexandria, even though I've been here a short time. The relationships between members of families is very, very tight. And not just the immediate family, but the extended family, uncles and aunts and cousins. It's the heart of Palestinian life is the family.
Right.
And extended beyond that is your friendships. There is not the level of isolation that you often see in the West. Yes, there are close relationships and family ties in the Western countries, but nowhere near what it is, not what I experienced in Gaza. And so, you know, a big part of life is spending time with your family, eating with your family, studying with your mother and father very often, sitting watching television with your mother and father,
Right.
which is not something that you do all that often in the United States. And the relationships between mothers and sons and fathers and sons and mothers and daughters and fathers and daughters, very, very tight, very, very tight. I don't know if I answered